What's up, gamers and gearheads? Welcome back to Front Spawn, a podcast all about Gears eSports. With me, I have an amazing panel of Gears experts. Guys, go ahead and introduce yourselves. We'll start off with Blaze.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Guy Blaze, coming at you live once again on Front Spawn. You know I need the front spawn, because I always want sniper.
Time out. Who gives sniper their front spawn nowadays?
Well, are we playing canals or what?
What is this? Gears 1? Blaze is still in 2006. I'm not sure what's going on. What's up, guys? This is Fallout. My man Blaze, co-commentator, and excited to be back here. Front spawn's a good time. Always good content, man. Really good content that comes.
How's it going, Immortal Spawn? Former MLG Pro, current Gears 4 semi-pro, competitor, analyst, dedicated observer, professor. I'm here on Front Spawn and having a blast. So thank you guys for joining us.
Do you guys play top 16 or top 12?
12.
I think that's pro in this game. I don't know. What do you guys think? Remember Halo? If there's a lot of competition, top 16 would be pro. I feel like
you're pro in my book.
You said it. You guys said it.
Oh man, I like that. I like the humility though. You're a pro.
Let's get into our first topic today. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Let's see what we're talking about. John, how many teams were there actually to compete?
Yeah, we had a total of 65 teams of 5, which is awesome. I know people might be saying 65 is not the 100-plus goal that was kind of being thrown around on websites and on Twitter, but 65 teams of 5.
The 12 in champ bracket?
I think it does.
Yeah, it does include.
It does, yeah. 65 total teams, yep. So Thanksgiving weekend, the tickets were ridiculously expensive to get there, and of course people don't want to leave their families. Yeah, I think that's a huge win for the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rob, can you explain how the pool play worked? It may have been a little confusing for the people who were kind of new to pool play. How exactly did that work?
Yeah, definitely. So there was 12 teams coming in, and there would be 16 pool play teams at some point in the tournament. But coming into the event, you had 8 North American teams that had qualified based on points. And these points were obtained through the Sunday 2K tournaments, daily 250 points on MLG, some Microsoft LAN events, game battles matches. So the top 8 teams that accumulated points in North America, and then 4 additional teams, international teams. So you had 2 European squads, you had the Latin American team, and you had the Asia Pacific team, right? So that put up the 12. So the top 4 in North America were seeded 1, 2, 3, 4 in pools A, B, C, and D. And then the next 4 teams in North America were randomly slotted into those pools. And I believe the 4 international teams were also randomly slotted into those 4 pools. So that's where you got 12. And then the last 4 teams to make it into pool play were the 4 teams to win out of open bracket. So 4 teams would win out. And the team that had the highest seed that won out of open would go to pool D, so it would go inverse. So the 4 teams that came out based on their ranking, their seed coming into the event would go to pool D, C, D, and A, and that's how we got the 16 pool play teams.
And Rob, brush your shoulders off real quick. You were one of those 4 teams that made it out.
Appreciate that, boss. Yeah, we got out.
Open bracket. Congrats to you.
We got into the grueling pool D right away, so that was fun.
And as a player, Rob, did you prefer this style of tournament over what we've had before?
Yeah, I believe it's great for the broadcast, just because you're going to have great games right out of the gate. You're going to be able to have some great matches with these top pool play teams, and being that it's an international event, it was so awesome to see those type of games right away. So we're like, yo, we got Splice versus United, we can push that match right away, on stream. So it was cool to sort of plan and get those headline games and see how the international teams, fare against each other. So I liked it a lot.
Blaze, what were your thoughts on the first open bracket?
The open bracket it's nice to get that open bracket hotness coming out, be able to play those games consecutively before you come into the group pool. I will say that it did provide a lot of good entertainment having those groups there, and it was actually a lot of open bracket teams that I thought should have made it into pool play that didn't. You had Incredibles out there that didn't make it. I want to say Loyalty didn't make it, or they came up short.
Energy,
Loyalty, yeah, Energy.
Gosh.
Same thing, came up short towards the end as well. Energy, Loyalty, Incredibles. It was a few of those guys out there, solid teams. that just didn't make it through. But overall, we've seen some storybooks come out as well. Some Cinderella stories. We saw extortions come out the group play. Those guys didn't even own the Astros, but they was out there kicking everybody's ass. You just had to root for them. And so, but overall, it looked real dope. I wish I had a chance to grab my controller and play in it as well. But from what I saw, it looked like everybody definitely just had a good time. And hopefully, the next event, the seed will fall in your favor.
Now, the Europeans at the Invitational, they didn't have any teams at the event because of some choices that
Roster
they made.
Changes. Yeah.
But how did the Europeans fare at the event at the First Land event here for them?
Well, you know what? I would say that Epsilon did very well. They definitely came out. They definitely came out swinging. Supremacy even had at one point had a game that I was watching where they were up like 6-3 on Revenge. I think it was up 6-3 on somebody, and they just came back, smacked them, and their whole tournament was over at that point. Just got morally crushed. The rest of the guys, you had Sigma, you had Millennium. They were so. Vitality was actually hot. I'm talking about Vitality was taking out teams that I didn't think Vitality could take out in the open bracket all the way towards the champ bracket, but they just fell short just a little bit before
they lost
some of the big matches.
They lost an open bracket too. That was a huge upset. I can't remember who beat them in open brackets.
They lost.
It was a team that I never would have expected them to lose to in open.
Yeah, they lost early. Then they went on like a
10-game
win streak.
This was Vitality. Did they lose?
Vitality, yeah.
Yeah, I had the brackets. Maybe it was Fully Spaced or Get Bronco or one of the teams. I think it was one of the open teams.
No, it had to be Fully Spaced then.
Yeah.
That's another team that kind of came out of nowhere, right? Fully Spaced.
Yeah, and that's why I was dope. They changed their roster, which I'm so about, but that team
they replace.
They dropped Carson's from what I know, and they dropped Carson's, and I don't know who they picking up, but I like that squad on paper, man. They were turning heads. They just needed more time or whatever. So
for sure, on the topic of European teams, I think it was a decent showing, a really decent first showing, given the fact that they did not have a chance to compete at the Invitational, which was the 8-team regional invitational held a month before in October. Europe was basically banned from that event because all of them were account recovering. I think for a first event, placing top 8 is a huge step for them. I think that sends a message to the rest of Europe that, hey, we can do this. Supremacy Blaze, you were spot on. They had some moments of greatness. They had a couple of rounds in a row where they looked like a sharp team. They're rotating, shooting for each other. I think they lack some slaying power. They lack a little bit of that new school, get down and dirty type of gameplay in Gears 4. I'm not sure what they're going to do. Moving forward, I'm excited to watch them in London. But of course, Epsilon. I think Epsilon is a team that matches up pound for pound well with a lot of teams. Skill wise. I'm looking for them to do some big things. I can't remember who they ended up losing to.
They lost to Revenge. It was very late. It was after our game versus them, and they lost to Revenge like super early in the morning.
Epsilon even lost to Extortions as well.
That's right. Yeah, Extortions beat them in pool. So yeah, overall, I think I counted 5 European teams, 3 placed within the top 20. Epsilon being the highest there with top 8, and then 2 outside of it. So a little bit spread out throughout the event. So they were kind of all over the place with their teams.
Not bad. Everyone knows I got mad love for Europe. That's obviously my root. So I'm still rooting for you guys. I think you guys had a great showing, and keep grinding. Seriously, keep grinding.
We need some teams from Greece, huh?
I got my little cousin. He bought. He's like the only person all over Greece that got an Xbox because he watches the streams and he's a huge fan. But he's alone on an island in Greece right now. Maybe he can get some traction going.
Yeah.
Village, hanging out, watching this broadcast.
Now, before the event, we had a few team changes, namely Vex, Envious added Soldiers and dropped Soto, and then E United almost completely changed their roster, right?
No, they only had one
change. Okay, well then, yeah. Now, do you guys think that these were successful moves for the team, or should they have sticked with the squad that they had?
I kind of I wish we'll never know what that Vex team, that original Vex team for Gears 4, would have done at this tournament. So that's sort of the unknown. I wish I would have, that's what we don't know. But as a result of that disbandment, it was that new Vex team, but it was bot, and without that change, that new bot team was was a powerhouse. So
Yep.
that was the biggest thing for me in terms of
I
the
agree
team
with
change.
you, Rob. I agree with you. And that Bot Empire squad turned out, like you said, to be a monster. And it was all like they all let Excel. I feel like they all let Excel's lead. Speedy and Fryout knew that they were the new guys. They kind of took a step back. Soto was a motivational leader there. He was a face of the squad. And Crash was just a pure slayer as well. Yep. And the team was so talented. And you got to say the Vex roster, they got Phenomenon and Strangulate. Those guys came out flat at a certain point. We saw them having some great moments, but their first match against Envious, I guess I can understand it's nerves. Then you had a match against Optic, the brothers, a lot more nerves. It just didn't seem like some of the players just fit on that squad. Mainly so Strangulate. We saw him sitting on that end, but I wanted him to be that leader of the team because who else was going to be the leader of that team? You can kind of tell that both those rosters kind of formed for points to get into pool play, and you can just see that Bot Empire squad was just so much better. And of course, the E United roster change, they placed one place higher than they did before. But Rodney was a good addition to the team. He brings that extra energy. He's on the same wavelength as everybody else in that squad.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a good synopsis. It's interesting when you look at that Bot squad and the Vex shakeup. I think it was the biggest team change storyline. I think Bot came out before the event. I would have said Bot came out with a better overall team, better kind of more slayers, more slaying power. Vex came out with a more structured team. Like I thought, honestly, Strangulate would be able to lead that team to victory and do some good things. I thought they had clear leadership. It was actually ended up being the opposite. Bot really had it all. They had everything needed, and it's a cool story, man. Not often do we get to play at local LANs anymore. That was kind of our roots as Gears. And Halos, Rob, a lot about those days. That team met at a local LAN in New York City. I mean,
they all met that weekend.
Yeah. They met that weekend, Blaze, right? You saw them. They played together. And Soto was playing with Strangulate. He was playing with Phenomenon. He played with Phenomenon at that event. Right. He literally said, I never forget it. He called me after the event. He goes, bro, I need to play with these kids. Like, I loved playing with them at this event. Like, they're amazing. I need to play with them. I'm going to make it happen. So it's cool to see the roots of Gears. LAN tournaments, really play a factor still. And
now we had Optic. They had some tight matches during the event, and Envious came in and did what people thought would be impossible for this particular event. They came in and not only beat them with one map, they beat them on two maps. Now, what do you think led to Optic's defeat? Was it kind of overconfidence and maybe they didn't prepare as well, or are teams kind of sniffing out what strategies will work better for them against Optic? What do you guys think?
I'm passionate about this one. Blaze, you heard me on when we were casting together. I have a philosophy. We'll see if it comes to fruition or not. This is like my Skip Bayless statement. Are you ready? I think, Blaze, you're going to disagree, and you got the better of me in this last one because I flipped my prediction. I ended up saying Envious is going to win it after being up 2-0. You stuck to your prediction. I respect you for that, and you got the best of me in that one. But they showed weakness. You can't deny that they showed that they're not perfect. They showed vulnerabilities. Of course, they came clutch, and they regathered, regrouped themselves. Those of you guys that are watching and don't really know what we're talking about, Envious had to beat them in 2 best-of-3 series because they came from losers bracket. Envious dominated them 7-3, 7-3 the first series. Optic came back the second series, did the same thing reverse to them, beat them 7-3, 7-3 on the same maps. But I will say it, Optic Gaming, and I hope they're watching, I hope they can learn and improve upon this. This is why I say it, has 3 weaknesses. 1, they don't know how to lose. I compare them to Golden State Warriors of last season. Dominant team, dominant record, best record of all time in NBA history. Everyone thought they were going to clean sweep the NBA playoffs, but they didn't know how to lose. When they started losing, teams started adapting, they kind of crumbled. They almost lost to Oklahoma City. They lost to Cleveland in the finals. 2, communication. I still think that hurts them. I think the fact that someone's mental. When we did listens with mental, I was pleasantly surprised he communicated well. And then 3 for that team is just grinding nonstop and not getting the best practice, but just constantly grinding. Like they're going to burn themselves out eventually, I feel like.
Are you done or are you finished?
I'm done.
Okay. Since you want to be Skip, I'll show you what Stephen A. Smith would say because I think
oh god,
crazy. Did we just come up with the next series?
All right, but no, you cannot sit up here and tell me that Optic does not know how to lose. Okay, when they lost, they got their ass kicked, and they played the same maps and destroyed Envy right after.
Yeah, that's a bold choice. They chose the same maps they got beat on.
They chose the same exact map cycle, and then they whooped their ass. Like, if anything, it shows that they lost and then perfected their mistakes on the exact same maps, and within 5 minutes, they went back and did it again, all right? So you can probably make the debate, hey, does that just mean that Envious is choke artists in clutch situations, they can't keep it up, or is just Optic that much better? I'll take you in that debate, but you can't say that they don't know how to lose. Now, these guys, like, to me, you know, nobody was touching them, okay? Nobody was being able to bang with these guys. So after every match, they come off the gas a little bit, you know? We chilling, we cool. You know, let's just get the trophy, go home, because nobody fucking with us, okay? And maybe in that series, they came off the gas a little bit too much, okay? They were trying to see how good Envious really is. Like, how good are y'all, okay? Can y'all take us at 45%? All right? Can y'all do this? What's up? How much better are we than you guys? And after that first series, like, that's like, it was so night and day, you know? It was so night and day where Optic just came out. They went full force, and Envious just, like, they got fucking rocked, you know? Like, if anything, I'm saying ain't nobody beating them right now. I haven't seen nobody put enough pushback. If you want to talk about their real weakness, it's not having enough intel on some teams' uncertainty. The two teams that gave them the biggest fight was Bot Empire. The best match of the whole weekend was that Foundation match that went 7-6. That's the best Gears eSports map to date. And then the Extortions match, the one that nobody really got to see. You know, you was on the little streaming app on your phone, recording it, and, you know, showing it to everybody. What is it called?
Periscope.
Yeah, you was periscoping and taking care of that. But Extortions went 7-5, 7-5. All right. You know, as a total, I want to say that's the closest anybody got all weekend in a 2-game series to them, and that was just because they was unsure about those guys, you know. But other than that, ain't nobody knocking down that green wall no time soon.
What do you think was said, and who stepped up as a leader, like when they went off and kind of regrouped?
Oh,
if you saw the visions, it was Gilbert. Yeah, Gilbert said y'all need to stop being fucking pussies or something. I forgot what he said, but like, Gilbert is the leader of that team, and that's without a doubt. And I'm happy that we're able to see that now. We wasn't able to see it too much in Gears UE, but yeah, Gilbert is the voice of that team. That's why he says dead center. He keeps everybody's emotions in check, and he knows exactly what he got to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think Envy had more focus on that first match, and they proved it. They were just more focused. And it was Optic just letting off of the gas a little bit, like knowing they had to lose twice. They're just sitting pretty. But, you know, even Lava mentioned it, like, you know, they regrouped, they figured out their shit for the next set, and it was a wrap. So
5 minutes.
I will say, I agree with you. I agree with everything you said about this event. They did prove a lot, and it'd be kind of ridiculous to say they don't know how to lose after that performance, that turnaround. But Optic will win London. Optic will win Mexico City. Boys Optic are going to lose in Paris. My boy Prezi is going to be back in Paris. That's where he's from, his familia. Envious is going to take Paris. And
is he really from Paris?
He has. Well, I think his dad is a little bit French.
Okay.
He has some French in him. He has some French blood in him.
He's like French Dominican. That explains a lot.
You know what I'm saying? French Dominican. His French blood's going to be pumping. He's going to be kind of feeling good when he returns to the homeland, the Hearthstone. I think that Envy's going to take Paris. I'm going to say it. Optic has weaknesses, man.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, right.
We're going to have a little fun now with you guys. We're going to do a competitive who's who for the MLG Columbus Open. I'm sure all of you who went through high school did a who's who. But anyway.
I won best bromance. Not sure if I'm proud of that.
I was most athletic, so.
Most athletic? That's impressive. Britt?
Anyway, so we're going to do a who's who and get your guys' opinions on this. So first we're going to start with most improved team.
Most improved team, I know it's only one place higher, Blaze, you said earlier, but at first thought, I got to give it to United. I think their showing at the Invitational was poor. I mean, piss poor. They were really disappointed with themselves, made a little bit of a roster change, nothing too crazy. And they came back and they placed better. And I think they banged out, with Bot. It was a really close game on that side station. So I got to go United.
I'm going to go with Envious. They proved that they can beat Optic, and, just in terms of their boot camp and their preparation and what they can do. Although they didn't really go up in terms of ranking, placing second at Invitational, just the fact that they proved that they can beat Optic for me was most improved.
All right, Blaze, lay it down. What you got?
Viva la Mexico! Splice. Splice, I will say that they are most improved, even though I want to say they got technically one placing less than they did beforehand. But every match that they played that they lost were 1 or 2, pretty much. Okay.
Same thing at the Invitational though.
Yeah, a few, but even like they had their bracket was harsh.
Yeah,
they had a harsh group play. They had some bomb matches coming out of it, and like I just felt like that they were. I don't know. I just felt like they were even better a little bit than they were beforehand. It's just that they had some tough matchups this event.
They made a roster change. You guys heard about that?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah? About that.
They dropped revolving. So
and picked up.
Right now they have an interim replacement. It's why am I blanking on his name? It's
for London. Yeah, they picked up someone for London.
London. I forgot his name. He's been playing GBs, Gears 3 GBs for a long time with them.
Oh,
Hispanic, yeah, Mexican. Yep. But I'll agree with you in that sense. Though I think inch by inch they're getting better and better each event. Slowly but surely. And I think we'll see the roster changes what they need to make that drastic improvement. But they are getting better and better each event.
It's adverse.
Adverse. Yeah, that's who it was. Adverse.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll see how that fares. They made sure to clarify that he's interim. So that was interesting.
So they want to leave a spot open.
Maybe they're just giving him like a probation period tryout.
Yeah. Maybe. Interesting stuff.
So good choice or bad choice for them?
We're gonna find out. I don't think any of us.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna start with Rob on this one. Most likely to have a completely different roster for the next event. So maybe 3 team changes at most.
Wow. I would have said Orbit. I'm not sure if that's even going to be a squad anymore, so that might just be a wash. So I'll go with NRG, just based on how where they placed and how disappointed that loss was. I think there might be some drastic changes coming, from that squad.
I can agree 100% with you on the NRG, but I'm gonna say Vex because
damn it,
the way that they performed. You could say the same answer, but I think those were the 2 main teams. Vex, the way they performed was piss poor, so definitely needs roster change.
I really think it's going to be Optic Gaming. I think their rosters. No, I'm just kidding. I agree with Vex. That was actually my choice as well. Strangulate is so kind of all over the place at times, and the thing that hurts this question is London's a week away, so it's kind of hard to change your roster because you have roster locks and things like that. But yeah, Vex.
So, okay, here's a question for you guys. I think it's important for teams to kind of stay together and work together to build that chemistry and build that strategy. But how do teams know when, okay, we don't need to stick together anymore? It's best for us to do a team change. And John mentioned last time Europe was doing team changes all the time. It wasn't very good for them and good and healthy for the teams. What's the difference between, okay, we're going to succeed if we substitute, or we're going to succeed if we stick with the team that we have?
I feel like Rob would answer that well.
Sure. So there's a couple things. One thing is if you feel like you're putting the time into, this would be a more personal thing. If you're putting in the time and you feel like you deserve more from your team than they're giving you, that might be a decision why you might leave a team. You want more out of it than your whole team wants to make. You know what I mean? And that could go the same thing with a team of 5, and they recognize one player's oh, he's showing up late for practice. We're all putting in this time, and he's just not giving it what we expect. What we're all putting into it, we deserve everybody on this team to do the same thing.
And you get verbal warnings.
Yeah, and that's a big one for me. It's just that just goes a long way because everybody's making sacrifices, and if you're not doing what you have to do to be there on time and put in the time, and then that goes. And the other thing is, just pure effort and dedication and showing the willingness to to persevere through. And the other thing is really just personality clashes sometimes, and there's not much you can do about it. If people continue to argue and it's very unproductive, the practice becomes unproductive, and you're wasting a lot of time arguing and things like that. At some point, some personalities just don't get along, so there has to be a team change there. But overall, you do want to stick it out and do what you can to avoid team changes because getting chemistry and getting your shit down and knowing your roles and positions and starting to anticipate each other's moves, that just gets better and better each tournament. But there are reasons to break away sometimes.
And I agree with you too on that, Rob. The vibe is everything when it comes down to making those teams, and you try to get the vibe right early on. But when things are going, and Rob said it all, nail on the head, it's just that when it's practice time, when it's time to go over stuff, even when it's team bonding time, and you see that one person who just for no reason is not there, is not like bonding with the team. You get done scrimming, he the first one to lead a party, the last one to reply to the group text when he get annoying. Yeah, he misses practice time because he got other things to do. Like, you just can't fuck up the flow and can't fuck up the flux, the vibe of your squad. And those players, they gotta go because they prevent growth. They just a nasty weed. Trying to stun our beautiful petals from blooming in the sunlight.
Right.
Anything to add, John?
No, I think they both hit the nail on the head. Spot on. Seriously. It's a tough situation because all 5 people, not 5, not even 4 anymore, it's 5, need to be on the same page. It's tough because sometimes like 1 or 2 people like see the potential in the team, but one person doesn't. I know that was a situation I went through. We got second then third place with Get Bronco, and Gfinity just like was determined we need to make a roster change. And I thought we fit together really well as a team, and he didn't. So everyone needs to be on the same page. Everyone needs to kind of be bought into the vision. And that's where it takes good leadership to make sure that really all leadership is sharing a vision and making sure everyone is aligned with that vision. And some teams really lack that.
All right, Blaze, we got MVP of the entire event, a player that stands out the most in your mind.
The MVP of the entire event goes down to Dispenser.
Oh.
Tommy Dispenser. And the reason why I say that, I could have said, somebody from Optic, somebody from Envy. I could have said, somebody from Bot. Before I could say notable mentions. Speedy did good, Abolix did good. Lava did good as always. Solars and Toy was going off, but the unsung hero was Tommy Dispenser, because I feel like coming off Galue, Tommy was into this I'm a support player type of role, but now you start to see him fill all these roles in his team and step up and be a main slayer, be universal, and he always has his emotions in check. And, he's very, very versatile for the squad. He was slaying all weekend, I noticed his game personally stepped up to the next level that it needed to step up in order for his team to succeed. And I just feel like he was a solid rock for those guys.
John?
This is a good choice. I'm going to go with Excels. I think Excels did his thing, very consistent all weekend long. And what he did, Blaze, you said this on stream. I got to give my hat off to you for that. He's leading his team. He's a shot caller for his team. He played anchor for his team on some maps, and he was still slaying the way he was slaying. I mean, that's crazy.
And all the call outs. He's like a puppet master.
All the call outs. Yeah, seriously. And the communication. So, without a doubt, overall MVP, him. It's tough to pick anyone from Optic for me because I feel like Explosive wasn't too impressive in the finals, and they all went off at different times. So it's always tough to pick someone from Optic because all 5 of them could be an MVP. So.
So I didn't get to watch all the games quite yet, just based on the fact that I was grinding the whole weekend. But I'm also going with someone from United, just based on how resilient that team is, and just from what I was hearing from around me. So I have Icy. I know he was making some ridiculous plays to keep them alive. Like the reason that United is so successful is just how resilient that team is, and they just don't give up, man. They had their backs against the wall so many times. They were
down 6 something a lot.
Yeah, and they had that loser bracket run, and they just kept saying, "No, we're not done yet." So Icy made some huge plays to help them survive as long as they did.
Next up, we got most disappointing performance, either a whole as a team or a player.
I think we all might have the same one here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of easy ones. Were you gonna say Vex, Blaze?
No,
not even Vex. Yeah, I'm gonna go with for a team, I'm gonna go with Vex. I think they came in with a lot of expectations. Who's gonna come out on top, Vex or Bot? So as a team, I'm gonna say Vex. What are your guys' thoughts?
I have E6.
NRG. Oh, okay.
E6.
We all
Damn.
They were
E6,
all good choices.
I forgot about E6.
They were all good choices, actually.
Yeah.
I know mine was NRG. Be honest with you, I just didn't expect E6 to do as well as they did beforehand. I just still haven't seen nothing from them. You know, even seeing them on the fight nights
Nothing.
even catching a stream here and there. I still never saw nothing that showed me that they were a different E6 team. And then, you know, they always constantly in drama before events.
Yeah.
You know, like I just don't ever see those guys come in. You know, they look all like the week before the event, they look all professional and they go at it. But once the event gets here, I feel like they just get lost in bullshit. To the fact is that they don't perform as well as they can when the event gets here. And then my pick NRG was, yo, you had Flames, you had Supremos. I swear, I thought Frank had a heart attack in open bracket trying to keep them alive. You know, it was like 4 different occasions where they almost got knocked out. You know, early on, and I don't know if it was just team chemistry, motivation, but the team on paper, you expected those guys at least be, you know, make their way to the pool play, go undefeated, get into the champ bracket somehow, some way, but they let us all down.
Yeah, Energy lost to Extortion day 1, and then ended up losing to Geeks. So they kind of just fell flat their last 2 games, and they squeaked by Avalanche. They were down. Yeah, they were down on Impact 6-5. Came back to win the next 2, and Avalanche ended up outplacing them in the tournament. So.
It's not like a bad match. That's literally a team that just
they squeaked past Loyalty as well too. I want to say.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Rob, yours is E6 though. Why?
Yeah, so just, you know, I do agree with you guys in terms of, like, we haven't really seen it yet, and I feel like that team is very skilled team. But you know, they came in with the A seed. They placed outside of that. They placed 9 through 12, and
did they place 9 through 12?
Yes.
Yeah. They made a little bit of a run. Right.
Yeah. So it's a very emotional team, has a lot of skills, but, you know, moving forward, you know, we're going to see something change from those guys.
Yeah. You know, can we talk about that for a little bit, that E6 squad? Because there's a lot of drama around that team right now.
Oh, yeah?
Would you guys, if I were to, at Sunday night, before any of this, if I would have come up to you guys and said, Noxious was the one that underperformed and needs to get dropped, would you guys have agreed? Like, that came out of completely left field for me. Complete left field.
I would say that, yeah, but you know, I don't know, you know, what type of stuff that Noxious was doing beforehand. Noxious just needs to make sure he read his contract and understand that this is a bit, it ain't like ballroom gameplay no more, and that, you know, you can get fucked pretty hard if you know, just you piss off the wrong people, you do stuff out your contract, and that's what we saw there. You got to go things about a certain way. I think it's players in that team.
For those watching that don't know what happened, Blaze, you mind explaining what's that situation's like?
Oh yeah. Noxious, he was discussing of joining another team. He was meeting up with orgs and other players about joining their squad. And in his contract, I'm gonna say it's like a no compete clause where he can't do that. It has to be all about E6. So they chose to bench him, and his buyout clause was $10,000. And they had the option to let him not play any Gears eSports for the entire season until he paid them $10,000. But they released him, you know, after, you know, enough time, and, you know, him, you know, squealing and squirming, they released him. I think they got their pleasure out of it. And but yeah, he could have not played any Gears esports at all this entire season.
Yeah, they were planning on bench. I saw his tweet there. He was being benched.
E6 water boy. That's what he was about to be.
Yeah.
The Bobby Boucher of the squad.
What you were gonna say though, Blaze, about the roster drop?
But no, it's about good 2 players on that team who I feel like if they were on other teams, they can possibly win an event. Like, they can possibly shine. Like, I'm talking about shine and come to fruition and become top players. But I feel like the drama that's always around that roster is holding those players back. Yeah, and I say Hudson's. I feel like Hudson's is all about his business. And I feel like, you know, sometimes when the drama hits that roster, you know, you'll never see Hudson's around. That boy be in his bed, ready to play, ready to sleep, you know, all about his business, and it kind of holds him back a little bit. And then also I would say I want to say Crush. It's like a mixture. Noxious is one of them, but, you know, Crush is always in drama as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like even if I don't know if the drama is because
walls, hands.
Yeah, I don't know if the drama is because he's on E6 or the drama is just always gonna come to him. But Crush has the skill to be on any of these top 4 teams and just drop numbers. But it's a debate between those two. But definitely Hudson's, man. If he was on another team, I feel like we'll see a better Hudson's.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, man. I met Hudson's for the first time at MES in Michigan Blaze when we casted that event. I was so impressed. He was playing with Mercenaries for Hire with Fatal Strike's team. I was so impressed, man. Like his professionalism, he's all about his business. You're spot on, man. Like very, very professional, very like mature, committed. Didn't drink all weekend at that event because he wanted to win, and that was a tiny event in comparison. Yeah. Who is so focused like that? There's not many players that are, honestly.
He's a pretty young guy too, right?
He's 22.
Yeah.
He's 22. Yep, younger. So, I completely agree with you. Meanwhile, he's on a team with people that are punching walls, breaking their hands, drinking on Thursday, Friday nights before events. It's and honestly, I've seen him kind of change a little bit as he molded with the culture of that team. I've seen him kind of become more negative, and I've said about E6 the whole time. I think that team, it's a deeply rooted cultural issue. They are so negative about everything. I mean, Crushmo even said it to me. Even when they're winning, even when they're on top of the world, destroying, they're angry. It's not that they're hyped and excited for one another, happy for one another. They are angry when they're winning. Yeah. So what does that say about this team and the negative aura that they give off? I think it's just a cultural issue. They need to.
I fully agree.
Mm-hmm. You have to be a certain type of like player to be a part of that team in terms of the atmosphere you want to surround yourself in. Like that comes back to just like playing with a team that you want to get the same thing out of. Like, you want to, if you're someone that just wanted to go and focus with your team and go over things the whole time, not to say like, we're not with them, so we don't know that they're not doing that as well. But just from what we hear, it seems like there was like a lot of a drama and attention from this tournament prior to the start of the event, that, may have caused their poor, their underperforming finish. So hopefully, that stuff gets ironed out, and we'll see what happens. I know, I believe Noxious was officially released.
Yep, he was.
And I saw him scrimming with Enix a few times. So I don't know, but I know he's been, I'm sure he's going to grind, and I know the game means a lot to him. So he'll figure it out.
He's a good player. So when I was hearing, on Sunday night, people kind of going off about how Noxious played horrible and how he's such a terrible, I was really surprised. He's not the person I would have said like, damn, it's his fault, So obviously they know their issues more than we know their issues, so we can't assume, or all we can do is speculate. But I was really shocked by that.
We're gonna jump back into the categories right quick. So most likely to succeed. So a team, if they were to remain together, who do you see kind of rising to the top, Rob?
I'll go with the United because they're just going to have more time under their belt with this new roster, with Clouts. As I mentioned, they proved to be resilient and refuse to lose. And the more they stick together, they're just going to continue to be a force. So,
what you got, Blaze?
Most likely to succeed, if they stick together, Bot Empire, 100%. 100%. Yeah, no, they have it all. They just they had 2 weeks of practice. They just need to keep working on it.
You think they could be a top 1 team?
Oh, fuck yeah.
There you have it. Heard from himself. I'm going to go with something completely different. I'm going to say Vitality. I'm going to throw it over to Europe. I want to look at an open bracket team, a team that plays kind of semi-pro, 9th through 16th. And Vitality is the one team that sticks out, I think, of the rest of those teams. I think they have chemistry. They have a good mix. They have some slaying power. I know Baghdad can get down. I think if Vitality sticks it through and keeps kind of grinding and practicing, I think you'll see a top 8 finish from them in London.
Do you think the U.S. teams kind of underestimate them at all?
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah, gosh, without a doubt.
A lot of them learned a lesson this weekend.
All right, Blaze, who was the best match at MLG Columbus? Who had the best match?
Bot Empire versus Optic. That was one of the best matches that I've seen. And to think that if it was another match offside that I did not see, it might have been, but the one actually, I would have to say, I think it was NRG and Loyalty actually was a nail biter. That was actually Bot Empire and Optic had the best map, maybe, which was that Foundation one, but it was NRG versus Loyalty or Avalanche, I want to say, but it was a tiebreaker 7-6
Impact.
No, I don't think it was right before. It was like probably like a winners round 4 map or something. They barely won it. NRG won, but they barely won it. And I think that was against Loyalty.
NRG played Avalanche, and
did they play Loyalty?
Yeah. No, they didn't play Loyalty.
Then it was Avalanche.
So I think it was the Avalanche match you were talking about.
Yeah, it was Avalanche. Yeah, that was a nail biter. So.
John, what do you think was the best match?
Yeah, it's crazy because there's so many open bracket matches that were insane, or side station matches on Saturday night when we were in the venue till like 2:30 in the morning. I mean, so many close matches that were missed. But I have to say the grand finals, not to give the cop-out answer, but I just feel like the grand finals was such a good story. So many storylines within that. Of course, the teams hating each other, E-Clasico, everything, all of the aboard. It was such a great grand finals. The comeback from Optic, I mean, gosh, it was awesome.
We think
we
Rob?
can answer a better final, but I have the bot Optic match from what I was able to rewatch. The bot Optic match was thrilling like the whole time, so it was sick.
Mm-hmm.
John, who do you think was the most underestimated team going in?
Ooh, a lot of them. There were, let's see, you had a couple teams that just no one even had on a map, right? Well, I'll keep it pro scene because we have greatest Cinderella story coming up, I know, too. So I'll save the Cinderella story for later. Yeah, most underestimated without a doubt was bot. I don't think not many people, maybe a few people, came in, saw them placing top 3. Week and a half of practice. They were doing some good things online, but speedy and frag out, kind of online kids is what everyone said. I think bot came in completely underestimated and really turned some heads.
Rob?
Bot's a really good pick there. I'll go with Enix placing top 6.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, man, those guys really showed up to play on LAN. It was really impressive, and it was a really fun team.
Who was their roster?
It's Nasty, Jake, and
Strafey, Rushies, Birdie, and Rosado.
Birdie and Rosado, yeah.
Who are they replacing for Noxious, by the way?
I'm not positive. I want to say Birdie was not in the scrims. I played them a couple nights now, and Birdie was not there. But I don't know if that's I just know that he was playing with them.
Blaze, who's your most underestimated team?
Most underestimated team. I would have to say Enix too, because I thought those made a squad just for the roster, just for points. It was a last minute team. They came out, got top 6. They wasn't on my radar at all. So,
which player do you think is going the most likely to say that they're hanging up their sticks, but that we'll see them at the next event?
It's got to be a couple of OGs, right? I mean, I've already seen Sick Image as well as Monster say, this is their time, but then they're still looking to play. I see them still looking to scrim and stuff. So I don't know. I just, like me, I know those guys have love for the game, and I'm sure they're going to show up at another tournament. So.
Man, this one's easy. Kraz, man, that kid, the night of, is tweeting out that he's gonna quit. He's not sure what his future holds for Gears of War. I mean, he's got the bug. I mean, how do you go to your first 2 events? Sorry, well, second and third event, but in third place, and then what do you get? 7th, 8th Revenge, or do they get top 6?
Revenge got top 6.
They got top 6, and then top 6, and retire after that. Like, we would have prayed for something like that back in the day, the 3 of us, especially with how much money was on the line.
Did he come back?
He's back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's back.
Okay.
I think he is.
What is it? Who do I want to say? I say Atmo. Atmo was one where it's like, oh, I ain't playing no more. Get this game. And next thing like, I look at the rosters, he's on Get Bronco, like, what's up? All right, I see you back here.
Yep.
All right, this next one was a good addition from John here. We've got greatest Cinderella story.
Extortions. DeFazio is, Cinderella herself, okay, with red hair. And, just like I said, because the only reason why I can say that, because I've met the kid at his first event in Montreal and got to see him there. And I would never have expected him from go to there to here. He was just a kid at his first event, like, yeah, this is awesome, Then he came out here and he just, punching everybody in the fucking mouth. And it's like, wow, okay, the kid has some juice in his tank. All right, so that's my Cinderella story.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Extortion's a good choice, and I think they made the most noise of all the Cinderella teams. These other two that I'm going to say didn't make a lot of noise, but I'm going to go Geeks and Give No Respect. And people are like, who? And exactly. Like, honestly, Flamesy. Who else is on that? Honestly, Sneaky, Sensors. I don't think many people expected. Yeah. Sensors kind of was on the radar because of Atmo. Atmo's been scrimming with them. You know, it's a homie right there. But I don't think many people would have expected them to make it out of Open, to do what they did over teams like Energy, the Incredibles. I mean, so many standout squads in that Open bracket. So I got to say those guys, huge Cinderella story. Their first event, all young kids looking to compete, looking to go pro.
I'm going to go with Geeks. Those guys took an early loss, actually, in the Open winners. We ended up playing them for top 16. And after, having no contest on land, they really played well. So they took a losers bracket run after losing to Orbit in winners round 2. And in losers, they beat Riot Boys, Sigma Gaming, Fly Society, NRG, and made it into top 20, where we played them for top 16. And they put up a really good fight. So yeah, great showing from Geeks. It was a lot of fun playing them.
Agreed.
Now, were there any European teams or players that didn't make it out to Columbus? I know that we're probably going to have a lot more European teams, no matter what the structure is, that you think will be fun to watch at the Gfinity Open.
Whoever Jack Reaction is playing with.
He's playing with E6.
What?
Jack?
Yeah, he's playing with E6.
What?
Yeah, so Team Infused, to answer that question, I was looking forward to the Infused team coming back together. I was actually talking to some of those guys, trying to form Captain Planet world dominating squad, because I wasn't sure if I could get 5 North American guys to go. So, but basically, when I was talking to them, they were starting to form Infused. Something happened. They had a bad scrim. Who knows? But as of right now, Reaction's playing with D6.
By this time that this airs, it may be different. But as of, what is today? December the 3rd.
Yeah.
Guys, that is crazy, because that takes exactly what we said in the last episode about E6 and having a cultural negative issue, and amplifies that times 1,000. Like, you're taking the most toxic man in all of Europe. And don't get me wrong, I love Jack. Like, he's a good friend of mine. But you can't deny, the way that everyone looks at him in Europe is he is the team destroyer. Like, he goes, think about it. He was on Epsilon, got dropped from Epsilon because of attitude issues. Went to Infused, broke up the Infused roster. Everything that happened at the Gfinity London Open in July. He stormed out of the event. Like, oh my gosh, that's crazy for him to be on E6.
I'll just mention now, because I'm looking at the London booked. This is from Eternity. London book. Hudson's can't attend due to family issues. So Affinity, Eternity, Crushmo, Jack Reactions, and Wildebeest.
What? Yeah. You have to be kidding me.
Interesting.
That is insane. That's absolutely insane. That gives him some slaying power, man. Jeez. Wow. Interesting stuff.
So, yeah, I guess we're looking forward to seeing that team to answer that question. But although it's not a full EU squad, it's got Jack on it.
Yeah, I'll say Pulse. I think Pulse is considered to be a top 4 team over there. I think that's a good squad. I'm looking to see what they can do. They could make it to Columbus, but they'll definitely be at London. And another squad is Excel. I think that's one of the top tier organizations, in my opinion, in Europe. They might not have the biggest following, but gosh, so well run. Big shout out to the CEO. It's Kieran, and I think their squad made some noise. Not many people expected them to place top 6 at the European Open. They did. And I'm expecting Excel maybe to do some things. If I have to look at teams that were not at Columbus, some good opportunities.
All right, so we're going to move into predictions now. We're going to do the best we can on this. As stated, we're not too familiar with the European teams, but we definitely look forward to them making some noise out there. Top 3 in Gfinity London Open, Blaze.
Top 3 Gfinity London Open is going to go to Optic, MV, United. Done.
No bot.
Are they going?
I don't think it's that full team that is going. So it might be a combination of a couple of them.
I think the full team is going. I think they are.
If the full team goes, then I put bot over E.
Now, when's the final? Like, you have to have your roster locked.
Roster locked.
So roster lock was submitted for pool play contention, but open play is Monday at 7 p.m. So they still have a couple days to submit for, and you could submit probably after that, but you would have zero. Yeah, Monday's the deadline, basically.
So United and Bot, if they both go, are gonna have to play through Open.
I believe so.
God, that's gonna be a Shark Tank, man, for these
Yeah.
these British lads coming to play their first event.
Yo, right?
Damn, I feel bad for you guys matched up with those guys.
What you got top three, Rob?
Yeah, I got Optic MVE United for top 3.
John?
I got Optic NV Bot if Bot goes.
So you don't think them being in Europe would give them the home advantage or anything like that?
I think Epsilon's gonna place top 6. I think they'll crack top 6. I'll give them that. But I have to say, is Enix going? I don't think Enix is going. Are they?
No.
They're not going. Okay. Yeah. I think Epsilon will place top 6. I think Epsilon might get 4th. I think top 3 with those 4 teams United included, it's gonna be tough to crack. But I like that Epsilon squad, man. I'm saying keep an eye out for them. I think they can turn some heads. They give Optic some challenge at the Columbus Open too.
So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please share, retweet our tweets, give it a like, and leave us a comment of things that you would like to see us discuss in the future. Thank you so much for joining us here, and we will see you next time.